Welcome, everyone, to the SEMO Coaches Show, live at Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau. We are so glad that you're with us today. So glad to have our audience here today enjoying some great wings at Wings Etc. Award-winning jumbo wings, popular for both dine-in and carry-out. Make sure you check out Wings Etc. 2 locations in the area in Cape and Jackson. Today. He is up in Michigan getting ready for a SEMO women's basketball game. Our undefeated, by the way, SEMO women's basketball team getting ready to play up there. And we are going to talk today about football, of course, still going on. We had another game Saturday and another nice win for Southeast Missouri State football as they beat Eastern Illinois. And joining me, of course, is the head coach of the SEMO football team, and that is Tom Matukowicz. And we thank you for being on the show as always, and nice meeting you today. And I'm just excited to talk about SEMO football.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and be good to get to know you better, and appreciate you coming out.
So Southeast Missouri State on the road this past weekend. It's always a big game. College football is so interesting because every game is an important game, no matter the record of the other team. And, SEMO football came through again this past Saturday with a big win.
Yeah, it is. You know, we've basically been in the playoffs last 5 or 6 games. I mean, you know, if you lose one of those games, you're probably going to lose the conference and probably lose out on the playoffs. So it's been that type of intensity throughout. It was a beautiful day in Charleston, Illinois, and I didn't think they made those days up there, but we actually had one. It was only about 7 to 8 mile an hour wind, which usually, that never happens up there. It's usually really windy. The sun was out, and, it was just a good day for football. It was a noon kickoff, which is also a little different. Most young people don't even get out of bed till noon. So that was also something we needed to work on. And it's also a tough place to find a hotel for 100 people. We actually had to stay in Champaign, drive up to Champaign, then drive down the morning of and stuff. So there's just a lot to that travel. Our bus broke down on the way back. So all the thrill of college football, there's a lot of drama with it too.
One of the things that people really don't think about when it comes to a football game, all the logistics involved in getting a team from their home, which is Cape Girardeau, to another location, all the equipment that has to move, all the people involved. It's really kind of a daunting task.
Oh, it really is. It's like moving a village everywhere you go. Coach Blackman is our new director of football operations and in charge of equipment also, and he's done a great job of trying to get everybody situated. I don't know if you know him, but he used to be the head coach at Charleston and has joined our staff. And we didn't even have a DFO before. It was Coach Ools, who was our tight ends coach. And so you really need a dedicated administrator to be able to just handle all the stuff that it takes to move a football program or set up meals and recruiting and all the stuff it takes.
Part of that, getting a team from one place to another is keeping the team focused and ready to play.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the steps that you go through when you have to take the team on the road to make sure they're getting the rest they need, to make sure they're staying focused to get ready for that game?
Well, the biggest thing is just got to make sure your team's listening to you. Every coach is going to say what they need to say. It's just some teams don't listen because you haven't done a good job in the offseason of building credibility and relationships. And so really if your team's not ready to play, it's deeper than that. Like I told them, that's in recruiting. Like I don't recruit you unless you really love to play the game of football. Like if you're going to play for free, if it doesn't matter who's in the stands, your attitude and your effort looks the same, that's my type of recruit that loves to play the game, because then you don't have to worry about it. There are only 12 of them, and if they love the game, they're going to be ready to play. But when I first got here, there are people who would rather go to intramurals. I mean, it was, we had to recruit that thing where we had people passionate about playing a game of football. And then you just got to make sure they understand that anybody could beat anybody, and it's about the process and get them to buy into the preparation. That's what's hard with young people, because they think, they arrived and they were this last year, but that doesn't help you this year, and you got to constantly do it over and over and over and over again. And so that's what makes my job fun. If it wasn't for this whole winning-losing piece, it'd be a lot of fun. But there is kind of some, we keep score for a reason, and at the end of the day, people want us winning.
But you made a very important point, the buy-in, and you as the coach, head coach, creating the culture
exactly.
of a winning attitude.
Yeah. And that's what's interesting. If you look at our football program and you look at statistics, which I never really do. I mean, I always look at statistics, but I don't judge much by it. We don't really lead in anything because there's really not a column for belief. There's no statistic that measures belief, and there's no statistic that measures the culture or the love, as we call it, or the buy-in or whatever people call it. There's no statistic that measures that. But it wins. Like, you could take belief and you could take love for each other to the marketplace and win with it, or to the football field and win with it. And that's kind of what we've been able to do. Each week it's looked different, but the bottom line is we're winning those football games.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was looking at that, as a matter of fact, on the OVC website in Southeast Missouri State, and a lot of the categories really is the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
But you guys are finding ways to win.
Yeah. I think, some of the main categories were upper, obviously red zone because that's the points, and then turnover margin. We've had a couple bad games, but for the most part, we're doing a really good job there. But, at the end of the day, it's all about winning, and stats and statistics is for losers. I mean, it really is. Like, if you win a game, what do you talk about? Winning. If you lose a game, what do you talk about? Statistic. Oh, well, we had 200 and whatever yards rushing. Like, you don't ever see me do that. That doesn't mean anything. Who cares? You lost. So statistically, I just think that also breeds into that's how you get the team separated a little bit. You make a big deal about defensive stats, and then it gets weird. Or even coaches, you got to have low ego as coach. It doesn't matter if this helps us win, even though it's not going to make you look good as a coordinator or whatever. You got to lose the ego, because the only thing that matters is we win. If we win, everybody gets what they want.
Make everyone better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Southeast Missouri State goes on the road, taking on Eastern Illinois. A nice win for the team Saturday. I've always said one of the most exciting parts of a football game or exciting plays to happen is a kickoff or punt return is just exciting to watch, and that happened on Saturday for you guys.
Yeah, we talked about it all week. Statistically, when you look through there, you felt like there were some plays to be made on special teams. We have good specialists. We have good skill, and we haven't really had the kind of impact on games that we should, to be honest. And so we kind of put it all together. We kick it off, and they don't pick up the ball, and they get the ball at the 1. We have 2 huge returns, one for a touchdown on a punt return, one for a 40, 50-yard gain on kickoff return. And so really dominated on the kicking game. And obviously that's a big deal, and that's what happens. We were struggling moving the ball on offense and stalling out, but special teams is what got us over the top, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, you win different each week, and that's why, it takes everybody doing their job.
Field position is so important in any football at any level, but especially in college football, and special teams getting that done for you too, making sure that, as you mentioned, that ball is deep near the territory. Yeah,
we had a huge, and no one thinks about this, but we had a huge pooch punt. Ball landed on the 4 and downed them and pinned them and ended up getting them stopped, and that's just huge. You don't even think about that. But our Jake Reynolds, our punters, had a fabulous year. And, of course, he doesn't want it because that hurts his stats, right? But it helped the team. Even though it's a net 34 or 33-yard punt or whatever it was, the team is way better because he was able to execute that and pin them down there in the 4-yard line.
And it is a position that people don't realize really the importance of. In the game of football is the punter.
Yeah.
Who can
well,
put
you
the
realize
ball
it
where it
when
needs to go.
something's jacked up. That's when it's like the snapper or the punter or whatever. A bad snap or a shank. Then all of a sudden you look in the media guide, try to find his name so you can boo him or whatever. But it's a stressful job because most of the time they're on the sideline, they're watching, or you get to the end of a game and your field goal kicker knows what this thing's about to happen, and you have all this time to think about it. And so that's why you got to be a mentally tough person to be a specialist.
Yeah, my son, we talked before, played a lot of high school sports. Soccer was really one of his main sports, but he also punted a little bit for the football team. Very first time on the field, his junior year, he got to punt. And now he's like 6'4", 6'4 and a half, tall kid, and the snap went way over his head, goes running back, has no idea he should kick it out of the end zone, right? He just falls on it at like the 4 or 5 yard line, but that was his first experience.
Sure.
And, that was a negative experience. I said, but it's not always going to be that way. There are times that you'll get to actually punt. And, that is a position on the field that people just don't think about how important it really is. The snapper, another position. But on defense really this year has made some tremendous plays for Southeast Missouri State to keep them in the game and even win the game.
Yeah, I think defensively had a really strong performance. Got a couple takeaways. We stopped the run. I think they were in the 50, 60 yards of run total. We were pretty violent. We had some nice hits, played pretty physical, which was good to see. And so just another good outing by those guys on defense.
You kind of mentioned something I want to kind of talk about today, and that is the intensity of the game, having the passion to play, but also keeping up that intensity level, but at the same time controlling the intensity so you don't have some challenges like we've seen in the NFL and some other college football games. As a coach, how do you try to do that to say, guys, you got to be intense, you got to be, go out there full speed, but at the same time you got to keep your head about the game?
I mean, there's nothing more important. We call it, and you could talk to Clarence about it, but it's handling your emotions. When emotion's high, is clarity high or low? It's low. If your emotion's way up here, you have no clarity of the situation and what's going on. That's why you have, I forget the guy's name, but the whole Browns and the Steelers thing.
Yeah, Miles.
If his emotion went that high, he would never get to that state. And so we talk about you got to hit the pause button. Even if my wife comes in and says something zings me up, I got to hit the pause button, because if I respond in emotion, that's probably we're not making out that night, probably, right? Like I'm probably on the couch. So if I don't do a good job, same way with the players, like they have to do a good job of responding. And what happens is you always catch the second guy, right? So someone shoves you, and then all of a sudden you react instead of respond with the pause button, and then now you push him or do whatever. And we've done a good job with that this year. Early on, we were setting records in penalties, but we had a really good game the last 2 weeks in penalties. We had one targeting that was tough, but for the most part, really good game from the penalty standpoint. But handling emotions that's basically what I try to talk about is you got to stop playing checkers. You got to play chess. Like when you're just responding to life like this, you're in the checker game. You have to get to the chess game, which is elite and it's hard. And so even in the weight room, we get them. We call it sudden change. They thought something was going to happen, and then we whack them and just see how they respond. Then we teach them, hey, this is how life works and all that stuff. And you got to get your mind right. You got to quickly be ready to go. Same way the sudden change. All of a sudden the offense turns it over, defense runs out. You can't be thinking about the last play, or they're about to score on you, and you got to be able to get over that. But
what's it really about having the discipline, right? That's what you're trying to teach, that discipline.
Yeah, to handle
not to
your
lose
emotions.
your mind.
Yeah, and have clarity and thought and purpose. Can't do nothing about the last one. Only thing about the next one, and getting your mind right and moving forward.
Always about the next play.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, we're talking with Coach Tuke right now, the head coach of Southeast Missouri State football, talking about this past Saturday's game. Again, another great win for your team and another great game for your offense as well. We talked about the defense a little bit. Let's talk about offense. Santa Catarina and Wilkerson have become a really strong team in college football in the OVC. Talk about that a little bit. Wilkerson just, playing unbelievable right now.
Yeah, really. I think he's the best offensive player in the league. I really do. And it's just so fun to see. Obviously, we recruited him and have seen his development for so many years. But, I mean, he just bought into that work ethic and just how much – he's a guy that didn't even have a scholarship out of high school anywhere besides SEMO. And so he has that blue-collar mentality, that worker, just he knows he's got to go do that. And so It's just fun to see the chemistry between a quarterback and a wideout's huge. Also, you got to trust where he's going to be, and then the wideout's got to trust that he's going to get you the ball and stuff. So it's elite right now, and it needs to be. We got a huge game this weekend, and both those guys need to play well.
I know you're not big on stats, but one of the things you look at a receiver is yards after the catch. And he's doing such a great job, Wilkerson is, about getting that ball and finding a way to break loose and get those extra yards.
That's what makes him elite is he's not a skinny guy. Like he can break tackles, and that's not usually the case. If you run fast, usually you're not big, but he's both. And he's strong at reception point. Now he's breaking tackles, and you get some of those corners, and they don't want to throw it in there to tackle him. So he's doing a really good job.
38 rushing plays on. I'm sorry, 9. I got my stats wrong. 9 rushing plays for first downs and 9 passing plays for first downs on Saturday. As a coach, as you're making the calls, what balance are you looking for in that passing versus rushing?
Well, you hit it on the head. You like balance. Now you got to define what does balance mean. I mean, basically you have to be able to be physical enough to run it when you need to run it, because to win games you have to get tough yards running the ball, right? But you're not going to score enough points without throwing it. So that's the balance that you got to have, and obviously they help each other. The better you are at running it, there's going to be more people open, and vice versa. If you're good at throwing it or you got dominant wide receivers, a lot of times you get light boxes. But you have to do it. The way I judge it is when they know we're going to do it, can we execute it? When they know we're going to run it and we got to pick up a yard, can we pick up a yard, and vice versa. 3rd and 8, they know we're going to throw it, can we pick up the first down? That's how you know you're good at throwing it or running it.
Because you mentioned earlier, talking with the players, they have to look at life like chess. And really, football is a lot like chess as well, right?
Yeah, I wish it was checkers. Yeah, it ain't. And I'm still learning the game. I'll never stop learning the game. It's hard, and the speed at which you got to think and process and the reps. And, when I got the job here, it's my first head coaching job. And so there was a pretty good learning curve in a lot of things, and that's what makes it fun, though. If it was easy, it wouldn't be any fun. You'd just stop doing it.
What's the toughest part for a freshman coming into the football team to get used to the speed of the game or some of the thought process that goes into the play or a certain position?
I think you hit it on the head. I think they're both. Thought processing and speed of the game is the same thing. Just things go faster, and so you have to be faster. When you're in your zone, things slow down, right? And that's usually what the biggest hurdle the young kids got to get over. And we actually played several freshmen in this last game. They get 4 games this year, and we've been able to get some of those guys in. And very pleased with our freshman class. I think there's some dynamite players in there, but also just culturally, they love SEMO. They're starting to build a really good bond with each other. And I'm excited about the future of that class.
We're talking with Coach Tuke today at the for the SEMO Coaches Show. We're at Wings Etc. in Cape and Jackson, where you can take part or get some of their famous appetizers like the Ultimate Nacho, spicy deep fried pickle spears, and more. When we come back, we'll talk more SEMO football. It's the SEMO Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN 1220. Welcome back to the SEMO Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN 1220. We're at Wings, Etc. in Cape today, where you can get their daily half-pound lunch special starting at just $7.99. Food and drink specials throughout the week is at Wings, Etc. in Cape, and also with location in Jackson. And I am excited to talk with our next guest today. He's the defensive tackle, one of the defensive tackles for Southeast Missouri State University, and that's Clarence Thornton. Clarence, thanks for being on the show.
Oh, of course, anytime.
So let's just talk about this past Saturday's game. Just give us your take on it.
I think we did pretty good, defensively. We stopped the run. We defended the pass a little well. Offense got points on the board. Special teams did what they had to do. Came out with the dub.
Talk a little bit about what you and the defense has to do to prepare each week for a team. So you got a team that's coming up. What's one of the first things that you're going to start doing to prepare? But beyond the physical part, beyond being on the field, what are some things that you guys do?
First thing we do, we just all, position-wise, we just all get together. We watch film, see, how our opponent is, see what their tendencies is, see what they like to do. If they're showing something, it's a little tip or something, just, take note on it, and then we go out to practice, and then we get to it.
So when you get into the game situation and the offense comes up, they're getting set, what are you looking for?
Any type of tendency that just, shows me, what the play might be. If the offensive lineman got their hand light, that might be a pass, screen, or they might be pulling. If they heavy on their hand, it might be a run. What a running back is to let them know what direction they're going. Just looking in their eyes, trying to see what may happen.
Okay, there's a lot to process, right? When defensive tackle, you're looking at a lot of things, and the play begins, and you're wondering where's that ball, right?
Yeah,
I want to get to the ball.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just running to the ball, listening to coaching.
Is there anyone this year that that you've played that you just weren't looking forward to? Listen, you're a big guy. You're a big guy.
Yeah.
Offensive linemen, though, can be pretty big, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty strong, pretty big. Is there anyone that you've faced that you've lined up against that you just weren't looking forward to seeing that week?
I'm looking forward to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't never back down from a challenge. That's all it is.
Just go after it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting accolades from the audience here about the great answer you gave. So yeah, that's wonderful.
Oh yeah, these my people.
These are your people. These are your fans, right?
Something like that.
That's one of the things. Southeast Missouri State University has a great fan base who are always, there for you guys, supporting you guys. Really important as a player, you get that, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. We see all the fans. They come out every game. They come talk to us after the game. Let them know that we're supporting them. On Twitter, Facebook, social media, they'll let us know that we support them. And they just love watching us play, and we love when they come see us play.
Being an athlete, injuries are just part of the game. Right now you've got one with your finger dislocated. I've dislocated a few things in my time too, so I know it's painful and really just annoying. Right?
Oh, most definitely. The stuff that I do in the game is, I ain't gonna say it's interfering with my play, but it's taking a little small part out of it. But I'm still playing my hardest.
Just got to work through the pain.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. Southeast Missouri State, of course, you've been here playing high school. What is it about football that you just love playing this sport?
Just the big moments. Anytime could be a big play, or anytime could be a meaningful moment. Just making the memories of it. Just playing alongside dudes that's, either younger than me, same age as me, all Americans, all conference players, just being able to play. That's really all it is.
When you come into a football team, especially the college level, and you're a freshman, you got guys that are taking you under their wing that are being the leaders. But eventually, as time goes on, you become the leader, right? It's a big transition for a football player.
Yeah. It's not really a big transition. When the younger players come in, they don't really look at me as a captain. They look at me as more like a brother, somebody they just I can talk to them about anything more than just football. I like to get to know the freshmen outside of football, on a personal level. Somebody I could develop a friendship with, be close with, so I can talk to them over the years, things like that.
Because being a leader on the field during the game is really important, right? Because you're really an extension of the coaching staff to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, like just communicating. Really, that's all. That's all. Like being a leader on the field is just communicating, make sure everybody knows what's going on.
You mentioned earlier, where we talked earlier about getting ready for a game, you're watching film. But for a football player, even in the off season, right, there's still things that you're doing to prepare yourself for the next season. The physicality of it obviously takes a toll on the body, but you as a football player, as an athlete at the collegiate level, are consistently watching, I would assume, what you eat, right, and your exercise routine and all the things that you do. But it's not just during the season. I mean, that stuff's happening all year long, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like all year long. Like this year, I ain't gonna lie. I had to they was pressuring me about getting my weight up. Cause I was real light. I ain't gonna say I was like real light, but I had to get my weight up.
I can't imagine you've ever been real light.
Yeah, I was like 265 coming out of last season, and now I'm up to like 277. So they basically just gave me the green light to eat what you want, get your weight up.
Which you gladly.
Oh, most definitely.
Most definitely. Favorite
Yes.
thing to eat would be what?
My mama red beans and rice. I can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
I always tell her come up, cook like a big pot, just so I can have it for like weeks, days on hand.
So you just called mom up and you said, "Hey, I got to put on weight. Send me some beans and rice."
Whenever it's a home game, I said like, so you go cook. Like I asked her like, can you cook something? And like she'll cook for me, my girl, teammates. They all come over and they get them a bowl and they thank her.
Does she make that? She makes enough for the team to, yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna say a whole team, but like
I mean-
position group basically.
I mean, I offensive line, defensive line, they can eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
Right? So, listen, we really appreciate you being on the show today to talk about, what you do. And, of course, the last home game is coming up. It's a big game against Murray State, right, this Saturday. And what are you going to say to people to encourage them to come out and watch this game?
Man, all I ask is that y'all come watch us get revenge because we owe them boys one. They took our chances last year of getting the OVC title, so we got a chance to get our ring this year or, part of it. Yeah. So all we ask is y'all come out, support, have fun. It's senior day, so you get to watch the seniors come out and play their last game as a Red Hawk.
I want to talk to Coach in a few minutes about what I'm about to ask you. Every week, it's every game is important. And especially the teams that may have a losing record or on paper don't, hold up to Southeast Missouri State. How important is it for you to make sure that you as an individual and the defense is ready to face a team no matter what their record is week in and week out?
Man, we just tunnel vision on the end goal. Like they tell us every week, like this is a team that's trying to take away like y'all chances at a ring or a chance at like playoff berth, stuff like that. So we just keep that in the back of our head when we're preparing every week. So we just keep on going and just keep that on our mind so we can keep going.
Stay focused, right?
Of course.
All right. Clarence, thanks for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Clarence Thornton, defensive tackle for Southeast Missouri State University. When we come back, more with Coach Tuke. We're going to talk about this Saturday's game. It's Murray State here in Cape Girardeau. It's senior day, and it's time to come out and, root on the Red Hawks. One more game and try to get them into those playoffs, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we'll be back in a moment on the SEMO Coaches Show right here on SEMO ESPN 1220. Welcome back to the SEMO Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN 1220. We are live at Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau. Great place to come. It's actually my favorite place to grab wings. And it's open 7 days a week, late on weekends, late when the game goes late, and even better, it's locally owned and operated and a proud supporter of local athletics, including Southeast Missouri State University athletics. And Coach Tuke, welcome back, and we had a nice chat with Clarence, and I talked to him a little bit about something that I wanted to talk to you about. And you faced a team this past Saturday that didn't have a great record. You're going to face another team this Saturday with Murray State that doesn't have such a great record. But those are teams that can sometimes be the most dangerous team to play any Saturday. Talk about how you prepare your team not to look past the team that's coming up that week.
Well, you got to, you got to talk about yourself. You got to make it all about us. I mean, the bottom line is if we're playing well, then we have our best chance against whoever we play. And it's about just respect. Like, you have to respect the process of winning a football game. Like, it's not easy. Anybody could beat you, and if you don't have a respect for the game and cheat the game by your preparation, like, you're going to get exposed. And so you just try to get them to understand, like, what you do on Tuesdays, what you do on Saturday. I believe in gravity. You practice well, you'll play well, and that's what we got to harp on. These guys get it, and so I don't worry about these guys. We have great leadership. And they'll be ready to play this weekend. I mean, we always play well. Sometimes we turn over. Sometimes we give up big plays or stuff like that. But we'll be ready. It is obviously a rival. If you look back at games we've played, they didn't have a great record. They were better than they were last year, but they beat us last year at home. It's always been 1 or 2 score games, been in overtime games with them. So this is, be big. Got a lot on it. Obviously, we got a home winning streak. You got an OVC title. You got playoffs and all that stuff. But you can't think like that because you ultimately can't win a championship. You can only win a moment or win a play. And so that's what we got to get our kids to understand is you can only focus on winning these moments right in front of you today, your process of getting yourself ready to practice today.
Clarence talked about being a leader on the team, being a captain, leader on the field, and those leaders for you, those captains and other players who are leaders on the field are, as I mentioned, extension of the coaching staff in a way, and really important for every coach to have those leaders on the field.
Oh, absolutely. Who's leading when I'm not around? And I'm not around a lot. They're at night or in the locker room, all that stuff. We got to have one message. And it's got to be throughout, and these guys get it. That's why I'm so excited about Senior Day. The things that these seniors have done for this program and their DNA and is all over this program, and their legacy will live on. It's still building, but obviously the winning its class school history, won the wheel, broke the streak down at Jacksonville State, and hopefully an OVC title. That's an unbelievable legacy that these seniors are leaving, and so excited for them and their this weekend and get to be with their parents and all that. It's kind of real though. This team we got doesn't have a lot of life left. Like, it's going to die soon. Hopefully we get another 7 days, but you never know, may not. And that's why we need to also appreciate this journey, appreciate each other, and enjoy it. Like, let's not get so focused that we're not enjoying each other and this journey that we're on. Because
it is a bittersweet moment for you. You're celebrating this incredible team, these incredible seniors, but at the same time, they're about to be gone.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that's why got to just make sure these younger classes aren't missing the message here. There's a teachable moment here. Are you listening? And these guys have done a good job of giving back and investing into these younger people. So, it's going to be a fun weekend.
And they've worked really hard, and last year, great season, nationally ranked, get into the playoffs, and this year, repeat, 8 wins, which hasn't happened before in school history. Rankings coming out today, and the coaches poll ranked number 16 in the nation, and the media poll ranked number 13 in the nation. And I know coaches, sometimes, when they look at polls, don't like, but it still shows the hard work and the success that Southeast Missouri State football has right now.
Yeah, it's just, to really, that's an elite level. To say, hey, we're a top 25 program is an elite level. I could go into a home on a home visit, and you instantly have credibility, right? Like, they're going to listen to what these guys have done in our program. So top 25 is important. But it only matters if you finish top 25, right? You don't get to say, we were ranked. You got to say, hey, we finished as a top 25 program, and to go recruit 2 back-to-back classes on that will be huge. And so we got to do everything we can. And it's just as coaches, you don't think about this because you're just constantly next thing up. But just while I'm on, I just take a moment to thank all the fans and all the people that support us. I want to give a shout out to Brian Roth. I know you're up in St. Louis. You got to you got to be the best fan out there. I mean, you're probably getting restraining orders on you. You're such a good fan. So we appreciate you. We appreciate the Moose Knuckles and just everybody that's done so many things for not only our football program, but me personally and my family. It's humbling. And as coaches, we always talk about what we don't have or what we aren't very good at, right? And I'm not very good at sometimes talking about just how thankful I am for you guys, for everybody, and the support that you give us, and my assistants, and just the job that they've done this year, the recruiting they've done, the development they've done. They're tremendous men, and they're great role models for our team. So, it's just a fun ride to be in. The job's different. Like, I probably wouldn't even get the job I got now.
As a head coach
as a top 25 job, I got this job because no one wanted it. They're like, hey, you look foolish. Why don't you come take the SEMO job? Hell yeah, let's go.
And here you are.
But now they'd be like, no, brother, we got to get this guy from, the Power 5 conferences and stuff. That's how far this program has come. And, and that's what it's got to be. It's got to be more than a coach. It's got to be more than a Christian Wilkerson or it can't be that. It's got to be above a player, above a coach. Like the Southeast Missouri State football and the program has to be above anyone, and got to continue to invest in it, take care of it, because it is a gem. Having a Division I football program in Southeast Missouri is a gem. Like, we take that for granted, and every time we're in the paper, in the Dispatch or wherever, it's positive news what's going on now, which is reaching students, and the stats go everywhere. It talks about how much the applications go up and all these things. There's just a positive vibe about SEMO right now, and football's a big deal, and we need to keep it that way.
Well, and let me add on to that, if I may. Football is having 2 great back-to-back seasons. We have our volleyball team right now going into the tournament ranked number 2. Our soccer team, wins the regular season OVC tournament. Women's team right now in basketball is undefeated. And if you look at the recruits that have already signed with some of those teams, by the way, softball this past season had a tremendous season. The recruits that are coming in, football, basketball, softball, are really top-notch recruits are being sought after by a lot of different schools.
That's the thing about it is, as a good friend of mine, Mike Cofield, who's in the back, says, a high tide rises all boats. And we take advantage of softball and their success, and everybody, lifts everybody up. And so winning is contagious. The other thing's true, too. The losing is contagious, too. And so just the vibe on campus and the energy, and when alums come on campus, is just that good vibe.
But I think going back to what you were talking about earlier, too, though, the fan base being so important. As a coach, you're trying to create a culture, right, within your team, within your program. But having that great fan base that is there for you week in and week out is really important.
Yeah. I mean, the goal when I got here was to make football important. Like,
you've
if
done a great
football's
job.
important here, it'll take care of itself. You know, do people care about whether or not we win or lose? And it's getting there. And so, you know, we doubled our season ticket sales revenue this year. And it takes a lot of money to run a program, especially a top 25 program. Like, we're a light years off that. So, you know, we have to continue this process to get it where it is. And the facility things that we're talking about are huge. I mean, they're just – you're really at a moment in the program where, you know, some really long-term decisions have to be made, like either we're doing this or not. And so we're there in a good way, you know, but we got some facility needs, and the stadium's not going to last much longer, and what are we going to do to solve that? And so that's why I pay Brady the big bucks. I think he's here. He's probably choking on some chicken right now, but that's his job. My job's to win games. His job's to build stadiums. So we'll get him up here, see how he's going to get it done.
So I'm going to need to mention real quick before I forget that this is the last regular season coaches show. Next week, our SEMO coaches show will hopefully be a postseason coaches show, and we'll find out after this Saturday's game against Murray State. And you mentioned this is a rivalry game. It's senior day. It's a rivalry game. It's in Cape Girardeau. I mean, this is going to be a really great, electric game for people to come and watch and experience.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Super excited. You know, they are a kind of a spread offense. They throw it all over. A lot of exciting plays from their offense. Defensively, they've been pretty good. If you look through their score totals, they've held about everybody. I mean, they lost to Jacksonville State 14-13, and they've held Tennessee State to 17, or Tennessee Tech to 17 points. They led a couple games. UT Martin and Austin P got after him a little bit late once the game kind of got over, but otherwise, you know, people haven't been able to score a lot of points. So this is going to be a huge challenge, and that's as it should be, right? And you got all the things there. You could coach a lot of seasons. You could play a lot of games. How many times in your life are you playing for a title the last game of the season at home? Like, it just doesn't happen that much, right? To be able to do that is really cool, and you know, I need to do my part, which is making sure we lead well this week, and make sure we have great elite practices and great focus on the details of what's our advantages this week.
Sometimes the stats don't tell the whole story. Sometimes the record doesn't tell the whole story. So when you look at Murray State coming in on Saturday, you can't worry about those things. You got to focus on the team, and it sounds like you're going to have your hands full on Saturday with that spread offense and that great defense from Murray State.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, the focus is still on us. I still think some players can still play better, and that's exciting is that opportunity to try to get them better. And then we got players that got to continue to play well at a high level, and got a couple injuries. Mardrick is one of our better players on defense, and he had the targeting, so he has to miss a first half of this game. And then Colby Cornett, you know, had an ankle. So we got, you know, those stuff starts to add up, and got some challenges, but they're great opportunities for some young players. And that's the message is you're not young anymore. We've been practicing 3 or 4 months here. It's time to fly, birdie, fly. Like, let's go. You're ready for this, and the team needs you to execute. And so go out and have a great practice today.
So it's an opportunity for them to step up and show something, and, you know, like, hey, coach, don't worry about next year. Senior's gone, but I'm here to step in.
Exactly. And that's the thing about opportunities. You can't create the opportunity. You'd already gave it to yourself, right? And you don't know when those opportunities come. Some injury happens, all of a sudden you're ready. Well, if you put the work up into that, you go crush it in your opportunity. But if you haven't, and you've been, you know, playing a victim mentality, and you haven't been going out constantly trying to get better, all of a sudden that opportunity happens, you're in there and you fail. May not get the opportunity again because obviously the program moves on, or we put another player in there. And so that's the message is everybody has a role. I can't do your job. You can't do my job, but we need everybody to sign off and do our job the best of our ability. And if we do, we have a great chance this week, bottom line.
But for Southeast Missouri State, at least for this season, injuries haven't been haven't plagued the football team too much this season.
Yeah,
Really
we've had good depth, and we've had 8 season-ending injuries, and so we've been banged up, but we've had good depth. We've recruited well enough to overcome those, But the margins start getting thinner and thinner. One guy I'm excited about is Devin Alexander. He had what we thought was going to be a season-ending injury, tore his tricep. Doctor showed him up, and he's already signed a Navy contract. He's going to serve our country after the season. He's getting his master's degree, but now he has done so well, they think he may play this weekend.
Wow.
And I'm talking about, man, there may be tears rolling down my eyes because that's a guy that's done so much for this program. He's a senior. To get to run out there with his brothers one more time, like, man, that would be great. So if he can, and we're going to practice him today, and hopefully he plays and is able to. But it goes back to how well our trainers, Ben Fox and Amanda Martin and the folks at Southeast Health, man, those team doctors have done a great job. Like, I can't even believe that's even an option. And, you talk about the impact in a person's life, like Devin Alexander may get to play his senior game, like because of the job that they've done with them and all that. So we'll see. Hopefully he gets that opportunity.
As a coach, you almost become like a father-like person to those players on the team. So for you, it's great, hey, he gets to play, but also that father-like side of you kind of likes to see him and all the other seniors. You want them to do well this weekend.
Yeah,
Beyond just
absolutely.
because it's a win, it's really about being proud for those guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've got 12 rings in my office. I've won my whole life. They don't, and so this is about them. I'm going to get up and coach again next year. They may not get that opportunity to win again, and so that's the pressure that you feel. It's really not the pressure from fans or the pressure of winning. It's the pressure that this group winning a title, that's what puts on you. You want it for them so bad. That's why my stress eating is through the roof. I got to find a better option, but at the time it sounds great.
It's afterwards that you
Yeah,
sort of regret
it's
it a
like
little bit, right?
The pain of regret.
Well, one last chance to kind of talk to people and to encourage them to come to this game. Tell us, what can people expect on Saturday?
Well, ultimately they're not going to come to the game because I say don't come. If you're not there, you're going to miss a hell of a football game. So don't. I think all the deer got shot. I mean, they're already shot last week, hopefully. If you're not good enough to get it done last week, you ain't getting it done this week. So you need to come out and support the Red Hawks.
I got mine Saturday, so I'm good to go.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Well, there has to be. There's some serious hunting going on. I need to get into this. Evidently, this has got to be a blast.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
nothing like
deer
it.
camp, and I see all these photos and all this, and I got to try it.
Yeah, so I invested all this money in the deer blind and the camouflage and all this stuff the deer sent. Got really mad, just started walking to the woods because I didn't see anything. Leaning up against a tree, there was the deer as I was leaning up against a tree. Spent all that money on the stuff, didn't even use it
That's
this
how
year.
life works. That's
Absolutely.
what makes it awesome.
But it's all, anytime you're ready, we'll take you out in the nice 25-degree weather.
You know what I want to hunt? I want to hunt these damn wild pigs. I just want to see. I mean, is it like Rambo where you're like sticking a knife in it, or is it like?
I don't think it's quite like that, Coach.
No?
But we can get you out there at some point if you really.
Do they have pigs around here?
Yeah, actually, there are some close nearby. Yeah.
That's got to be a blast, right?
Well, I've not hunted for pigs.
You haven't?
No, I haven't.
Well, maybe yours and I both time.
Yeah.
Try it out.
I would rather use a firearm, but if you want to go the knife route, we can try the old yellow route and go do that.
Well, you got to have something to brag about. Like anybody can shoot it with a gun.
Well, no, not everyone can shoot it with a gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been around enough people to know not everyone can fire a firearm. Hey, Coach, listen, thanks for being on the Coach's Show and making my first time on the show so easy. And we wish you the best of luck on Saturday. Going to be a great game. Can't wait to see Southeast Missouri State finish out this season on Saturday.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Go Red Hawks.
All right, go Red Hawks. Thanks to Coach Tuke for being on the show. We want to thank you for being with us today as well. Don't forget, next Monday, if Southeast Missouri State makes it in, we'll have a special postseason show. That's next Monday here at the Cape Girardeau location at Wings Etc. By the way, if you haven't been to Wings Etc., you need to come here. Either the Cape or Jackson location. It's a great place to come and have lunch or dinner. Great for the family as well, by the way. Very family-friendly kids menu, videos as well. Games always going on the TVs. Just a great place to come and enjoy yourself at Wings Etc. in Cape or Jackson. Good luck to our Southeast Missouri State women's basketball team and Eric Shawn, who's going to be bringing you all the action live from Michigan. And good luck to Southeast Missouri State's football team this Saturday as they take on Murray State at home. Make sure you come out and watch the game. Root on the Red Hawks. If you can't make it to the game, you can, of course, catch that game on your river radio stations around Southeast Missouri. Again, thanks for being on the show today, being with us on the show. And I'm Glenn Cantrell in for Eric Shawn on SEMO ESPN 1220.